Hello, good evening, and I hope you're having a glorious Sunday. Hey, we are here again. Who are we? Let's see. This is FODA, ATTOBRAH, and I have my friend B. Russell with me. It's the book chat for Reflections for a Thirsty Soul. We are here once again, and today we'll be talking about the Balm of Gilead. But before we do that, it's from my book, Reflections for a Thirsty Soul. I'll be putting the link in the comment section later on as we go along. So today we are looking at the Balm of Gilead on page 126 to 127 if you have the book. And it can be found on Amazon, Friesen Press, Google Books, Barnes and Nobles, and iTunes. Also, if you go to my website, mommytalks.com, you'll be able to read some book reviews on there. And please do subscribe to my YouTube channel under ATTOBRAH. So with that, now that we've taken care of that, we will get started. I'm sure we'll have some people joining us later. We'll put the link in the comments as well for anybody who wants to come on and give us their views or opinions. So we'll start. The Balm of Gilead. How do you see yourself as a person? Do you have a positive self-image? Our adult lives are shaped by the messages we hear during our childhood. What was spoken to you while you were growing up? Were you blessed with kind words and nurtured in a loving environment? Or are you plagued by self-doubt, lack of confidence, awkwardness, fear, or a myriad of other negative emotions? Well, those are deep questions. Any take on it,
Very deep.
Why are you thinking so much? Right?
Yeah, that's deep.
Oh.
It had me thinking a lot, and I tried to think about. Okay, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
my environment wasn't nurturing or loving.
Mm-hmm.
It was maybe it was a mixture of it,
Mm-hmm.
but the dominant part was not
Mm-hmm.
positive. Um, so I think for me, the effect that it had on me, the negative aspect of it all,
Mm-hmm.
was that became, I think it toughened me instead. Like I grew a tough skin, and I
Mm-hmm.
became defensive also
Mm-hmm.
and rebellious
Mm-hmm.
because I think it was because I did not believe anything that was said negative about me in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And that came about because um, growing up, I was reading a lot.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturdays, my dad would drop us at the library
Mm-hmm.
around 10, 11ish.
Oh, you're
And
a
then,
library girl.
oh, yeah. And then he will go and play tennis. So around 1, he will come pick us up. So it's like 3 to 4 hours every Saturday. It got
Mm-hmm.
to a point I couldn't find a book in the library to
You'd
read
read it
in my
all.
age, yeah, section. So
What age group was that?
I
Like
think
at
it
that time,
was
how old
like
were you?
class 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
So 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 to 10. No, 9
Mm-hmm.
to 11. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was
Okay.
when this was happening. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what, because I knew there was something different out there.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just this. I was reading about Tintin. I was reading about, like,
Tintin.
yeah, and the famous five. These were kids that were empowered.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Doing
being
things.
detectives. Yes, so I knew that. Yeah, I mean, even
Uh-huh.
children can do something. So
Mm-hmm.
if you tell me I'm lazy, I can't become anything good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it really fell on deaf ears, and it
Mm-hmm.
rather made me defensive, and
Mm-hmm.
I rebelled in the end. And
Mm-hmm.
also, Well, my dad wasn't really always at home, always present. He was a
Mm-hmm.
workaholic. He was always
Yeah.
at the clinic, and if he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there, he was at the clubhouse. So
Mm-hmm.
when he had time to actually talk to me was when
Mm-hmm.
he was taking me to school. Those
Mm-hmm.
trips, like from
Mm-hmm.
We lived in Akuse then, like when we
Mm-hmm.
had those discussions, like from
Okay.
Akuse to Ebri, and
Mm-hmm.
he would tell me how to behave as the firstborn child, and
Pressure,
and
pressure.
I know, and how and why, like every time he comes and there's a problem with me, the kids.
Hello, good evening, Emmanuel.
Hi, Mano.
Mr. G.
Like when he
Mm-hmm.
comes home and there's something wrong, immediately he jumps on me.
Mm-hmm.
But on those trips, he explained, he said, "You're the firstborn, and I expect you to do better or to know better, or even if you're not the one doing it, if the other kids are doing it, I expect you to
Mm-hmm.
straighten them up."
Mm-hmm.
So those talks helped. And when your report card comes, unlike my mom who will yell at you and say all sorts of things, my dad will sit the four of you down, pull it up, and
Mm-hmm.
the way he will talk about it, you feel stupid for not doing more than you did. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, are you going to read after I'm done?
Yeah, when you're done, I'll read it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I remember he kept asking us what we wanted to do in future, and if we understood. So he
Mm-hmm.
was more communicative,
Mm-hmm.
and it's unfortunate that he passed away quite early
Mm-hmm.
in my life. Like when I was 15, he had an accident and he
Oh,
passed away.
sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
but
unfortunate.
I know. But he promised me, like when we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about academics, he promised me if you do well in the ordinary levels, you will continue in the UK. And although he passed away, I just said out, and I knew that it wasn't going to happen. The UK thing was dead,
Mm-hmm.
but I still did it
Mm-hmm.
to excel, just to make him proud wherever he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then another negative part of my growing up is we're not allowed to socialize.
Mm.
We're always told, okay, you are four, you have three siblings, you can play among yourselves.
Mm.
Your siblings you're already familiar with.
Yes.
So
You're
there's
already
no
fighting with
work.
them, right?
Yes,
So,
there's no work in so I really lacked the social skills, and I still struggle with it. Like
mhm,
if I go somewhere, it's not that I'm timid. I didn't become timid, but
mhm,
because I became so defensive, and then I also didn't have the skill actually.
mhm,
If you start the conversation, I
mhm,
can continue, I can,
mhm.
but
To go and start it.
starting was a
Mhm,
problem. Like I didn't know
mhm,
where to start, or like
mhm,
even what to say. You just
mhm.
say the best I could do was to say, "Oh, hello," and then I'm stuck because because it was even a problem if you brought like a girlfriend
Mm.
home. We are fekubo,
No, yeah,
and
they
it's
have
not
to.
like
Mm,
afekubo. Even if it's one friend who comes to visit
mm,
you, like
mhm.
it's a problem. So it
Yeah.
was really difficult, and yeah, that's how it affected me. My social skills, yeah,
Mhm. Wow.
really
It's
lacking. Yeah.
it's 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 interesting. It seems like we kind of had similar backgrounds, but I'll come to this. Let me read some comments. So
Okay.
Sheila is saying mine wasn't bad, but I wouldn't say it was the best. But to me, it doesn't matter where I'm coming from, but what matters is where I'm going.
Mm,
Yes, that is so
also,
true.
yeah.
It's good to have that perspective because there's people
Yes.
who've really had bad things happen in their upbringing that they are stuck with it and they can't move from it. So at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, you have the power to move yourself forward.
Right.
And Miss Sage says, hello to the two YAA'S. Hello, Miss Sage.
Hello, Sage.
Welcome. Hope you had a good week. Hi, Pastor P.
Oh, hi, Pastor P.
Thank you for coming. So Like as you were saying, how did you see yourself as a person? Do you have a positive
Mhm.
self-image? What images did you, you know, it's for me, right? What I
Mm.
remember is like I just grew up feeling like the proverbial ugly duckling. You know that we come from an environment that our mouths are so, we have
Hmm.
biting tongues.
Right.
And the things that we say, it just hurts people. We
Yes.
inflict, somebody can just hate you. Can be, I remember in the neighborhood, or when I went to sixth form in Winnipeg, people would just be shouting, Sogbo, Sogbo, like you are ugly, or Umoma po.
Yeah.
And we are so, hello, Akuya,
Hi,
welcome.
Kia.
We are so negative. It's like the thing that I ask myself is, who has ever created a human being?
Exactly.
Nyame na ɛbɔɔ nipa. I forgot to say we might be speaking true in some aspects of this live, so please
Yes.
bear with us if you don't speak tree. We're from Ghana, tree and English.
Right.
So nyame na ɛbɔɔ nipa nti what gives you that, like what gives you the gall or I say audacity to go and criticize somebody?
Mm-hmm.
And we are so negative that way, and so some of those things, and to go back to Sheila's comment, right? Mine wasn't the best. Like I've always said on this live that, our parents, for me, I always say that they did the best that they could,
Right.
considering that even your upbringing, somebody wish they had that. So I won't fault them that. They provided, but my dad, he was there, but he was not, he was busy working this and that. He was not,
Mm.
I don't know how to explain it. He
Yeah.
was a very strict father, and most people in my cousins and all that, that's how people remember him. So one of my sisters and I, she lives in London, we went to visit. Pastor P, who they wouldn't you didn't come on Ghana for. So
Hmm.
um what was I saying? Yeah, he was a very strict person, and that's how people knew him. So
Yes.
this sister and I, we went in 94 to go visit. We went in 94, 95, boom, he died. So
Oh.
94, no, we went in our living room, and I don't know, he liked to sit there. Sometimes, one of the things we wrote in his obituary, you hear somebody laughing, he'll be sitting by himself watching TV, listen to the news, just laughing his head off. And so he's sitting there, and we're also around, my other sister and I are around. And then we see our last born. She was probably 20 at the time, sitting on his lap. We were shocked. We were like, huh? And I said, hey,
You
this
didn't
strict,
have that.
they are strict with the first ones, and when it gets to the bottom, they are just loosey
Exactly.
goosey. So
True.
I'm like, wow, that was a shock. I'm like, wow, he's mellowed out, right?
Yes.
And so for me, there was that, like him, but he was a simple person, more friendly, open. I'm not. It's not to say my mom is not, but my mom's side of the family, they are the most snobbish people,
Hmm.
high standards and this and that. Did you know me? Class six, my course city common entrance, KKK be an air course.
To see those people with wrinkles.
Oh, Pastor P, thank you.
Mwah.
Oh,
Ah.
Sheila says, oh, my mama, God bless you for asking that. Who has ever created a human being before?
Mm.
Why are we
Hmm.
so negative? Why are we so cruel? Why do we do that? You see, I'm going to another angle.
Mhm.
Like when we saw, yeah, sorry, yeah, can't say abroad to say, but one kind of crow. Who do you know who say, oh, I like that on you. It looks good. That color suits you. Oh,
Right.
you are beautiful. No, Shenidi. You know what? When I was in Ghana, I'm a tall lady. I'm 5'7" or 5'8". And you know, I'm say too tall as them. No, just oh, they're tinting. My uncle B was calling me Mami Dogo.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Until like a joke,
Dogo.
oh, Mami Dogo. Until when I grew up and I said, now Uncle Paul, I'm now from Mami Dogo. He had 6 kids, five girls and one guy. None of them are short. What I say, it
Yeah.
is like It's not no put the makers. I didn't look at it as a negative thing, but I thought, hang on a minute, what you say?
Yeah.
Now, cross our man want, I don't know the from none of them is a short person. Into the labels that you get put on you, like me say me mommy high standards, ukonya grade me na KK na I'm say me work class 5. And I me papa say na me kwa association jump to class 7 and go and sit common entrance. After school I me pick here you kind of saying when the results came, now I was about my bottom mark now I was about 6 down. And to say oh dear yeah mommy and come San City bill. Just all this fast.
Forgetting that my jump hill.
Yeah, I mean I felt as a firstborn I went through too much pressure.
Oh yes.
Yeah, too much pressure. BBR seems to depend on you. And I say, do teenage years, no crime. Some even run away. I do almost 10, some no and almost run, almost cop party. Now, bua fujina ho, kasa. Mami jina ho, auntie jina ho, mami no, she has her favorites until she portrays some people as good. Now the year monster. What you say? I say, look, my, sorry, Sister Sheila, Pastor Patience, a child. Ain't completion permitted them to call me all the names in the book. Ain't like it's I don't know, like emotional, it wasn't there, just that pressure, no. Wow. Pressure, no, like somebody always comes before you. Same here, Kasa, we were asking, said, do you have a positive self-image? Look, I'll tell you the truth. I didn't really have a positive self-image till I came here. And I don't know why, because when I'm going to say, like people treasure height. It's not to say a short person is not a human being, but you could be a model, or you could be say, and I'm like, so like we didn't even know the concept of working. We didn't even know the concept of feeling good about yourself. Like, I'm glad, say, I will say, when you said you were reading, no, you know that, here are kids doing this. So you got that positive you from it. I did a lot of reading too, but I don't remember feeling, I read it for the pleasure of reading, but I don't know if I even had that foresight to have learned those lessons. That's a good thing that, for you. It's like, for me, it's like reading was an escape. This
yeah, like a
escape.
fantasy world,
Yeah,
because I
excitement.
feel like I'm doing whatever with them.
Nancy Drew, no, the Bobsy twins, no one. But me, my mom worked at the commercial bank. Into the click to the library. Can be a library into Mills
Yeah.
and Booth. These romance books, Harlequin
Even the Mills and Boons, I had to cover it up with newspaper.
I
Those are
mean, not kind binti.
me they now age.
Emmanuel say, I enjoyed life at the youthful, but spend most time with outside world. The punishment I had at that age still leaves me angry. I may not have survived. Cry. Yes, I remember reading some comments from you. I know. It's not. You know something? I said this before in a different life. There's a lady. I always remember this comment that she made. She says that she tries not to speak bad things over her children because they talk to us out of their pain. Like me, some of the things that I remember my mom saying to me, I'll say to myself, I'm a little child. Why would you say this to me? Right?
Right.
It's like baby neighbors be your opposite. Now, no, secondary school. Nti baako yɛ mature, but like my classmate, and I think I got into some fight or something with her. And the comment she made is, "Oh, now wala kunkun wenyim de bibi." So you come and tell your mother this, expecting her to support you, and then all she says is, "Oh, also be a kunkum." Then they must mean you. It's almost like something. No, they are dealing. They are dealing with their own issues. What you say? They are dealing. Obekase bia, wabetna itu na own analyze. But I have to because at this stage of life that I am, not that I know the truth. Even still, they grew up a certain way. They are caught
Right.
in some of those nuances. And to me, mama say, "Oh, she's so happy on the way per master on the way per me." Say, "Mama, that is not a problem for me." Maybe open master. From what I went through, no, I've worked hard on myself. That I don't need your approval.
Right.
I don't need your approval. I don't. And you don't need my approval. Be yourself without my approval and leave me to be myself. But we can't accept people as they are, so we judge them. Oh, we
True.
judge them. It's,
True.
you know, like they taught me good things, discipline, you know, standing up for yourself, speaking the truth, all that. But okay, emotionally, pass it.
Hmm.
Say, no, it's like me and my mommy bedi in komo, but there's only so much in komo I made to me because after a while it becomes a battle of the wills. Or no, no, she wants to control everything. I miss so many, and I don't. No, I'm an adult. If you can't respect my
Yeah.
opinion and let us agree to disagree, I'm sorry.
I'm only laughing because it's
And
the same with me. You know. Hmm.
yeah, because me, you know, and maybe that I went through, no, it's not like no. No, I stand for what I stand for. Maybe I'm much this and that, but you can't own me. I have to think for myself. I have to do my own thing. Now, Obi, I'll just say, I can't cry no retirement. So, yeah, call and Obi, I catch what you want to be thinking. No, I'm on 10 year maybe.
So even now,
Mhm. Oh, Chesa is like, you have opinions, right? But it's like, this is my opinion, this is how I feel. And then you feel that way. I don't have to, like, that's you do it that way, but I don't do
mm-hmm.
that. I don't live my life that way.
Mm.
Like, let's speak it and let's be done. Yeah, yeah, katasumo. That's how they grew up until they still, oh, and yes,
That's
oh,
what
say,
they know.
oh, yeah, yes, yes, yeah, baby, don't be doing that. So, okay, auntie, so, yeah, bro, honey, it's a bro, now they all the cochiche. Like, is that fair?
Whoa.
Mm.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, kind of comment. You know, my parents raised my sibling and I in a healthy, productive environment. When we joined them abroad, they had to rebuild our self-esteem due to some mistreatment. Yes, from a certain uncle. Ironically, some family members tend to reflect their useless life and past experiences on vulnerable children. It's sad and pathetic. Ajua, I'm laughing with you. Asem now, it's like, yeah, it's true. It's true because I mean, oh, Papa, they've traveled and they've left you with somebody, and so
Mm-hmm.
you that you are supposed to be family members and you are supposed to show me love and you are mistreating me. How does that compute? Like
Oh,
it's where, but like she said, you know, we put our pain on people. Like if you have a mother or a father who's full of pain, when they are beating the child, they are not beating the child to discipline the child. It's like they are, it's very cruel, like very
yeah.
anger. And you can
Yeah.
hurt the child. If you are not lucky and you go and kill your own child, can you imagine?
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Any more thoughts? Kind and
No,
loving.
it seems yeah, it seems that we grew up in almost the similar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Enough,
because
like we didn't have a lot of friends. Like what I liked is the families where you say, oh, this person goes there. I have this friend, we were in Kivas together and her good friend lived one block over or one
mm-hmm.
street over from us. So anytime she came to visit, she was going to my Miss house and I'll walk with her there. And you go to that house, everybody is also, free, this and that.
Yeah.
I remember that my sister, she's the third one. She went to pick a friend from like we're the first house on the junction. So one, two, three. I think it's third or fourth house. So some older lady went to Okofana Danfo. And then my dad,
Mm-hmm.
hey, when he's disciplining you, even I have his picture up here. In the picture, no cry, he's like this. He looks at, I'm sure when him straight to, but you will know that you are being disciplined. She told my sister, said, that person that you've gone to take, you can't be friends with that person. But when I grew up, I kind of understood, right? Because
Oh,
my sister
right.
was probably in her teens and this woman was 20 something. And to know, like, what, she could
What
be
you have in
introduced into.
common that
Yes,
year.
yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't, I like that. Like, so it makes it hard, like, even like the social, well, me, what I know, listen, people don't, because of that, you keep to yourself, right? But
Yes.
people don't know who you are till they come and talk to you. So me, I've heard a lot of things. Even when I first came to this country and I'll go and visit people, they'll be insulting you. You haven't done anything to them. Oh, this woman, when she comes here, she
Anyone.
thinks you should serve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, serve me for what? Tell me what to come and do. I'll ask you. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No. Sometimes people see something in you more than you even see in yourself. And so then they try to do things and put you down.
It's true.
And if you don't know, I heard somebody, I think it was, um, I was on a webinar, I think it's Mr. Lawson, Ferdinand Lawson. He made this comment that if you yourself, you don't know who you are, so you don't put worth on yourself, people will use you and abuse you and throw you away. So
Yes.
sometimes people don't know, you don't, and then somebody sees something in you you are not seeing because of anger or jealousy, then they project all kinds of things on
Mm,
you. So you have to be discerning. But at that age, we didn't know. We didn't know better. So anyway,
yeah. Yeah.
I guess we've said
And
enough on that. We can come back later. I'll carry on. As a
okay.
result of some of these insecurities, we place all kinds of limitations on ourselves. We have become trapped and cannot move into the fullness of God's purpose for our lives. Do not believe the words of the devil. He is a liar and a deceiver. Today, I'm here to tell you that you can experience the healing touch of the loving God, that there's a balm in Gilead who makes the wounded soul whole. You can break free of your limitations. You can do all things through God who strengthens you.
Amen.
Sheila is saying balm to something. Oh, I think
Bam. Maybe there.
the insecurity. So, what can we say about
Or you
insecurities
can.
and limitations?
This one, yeah, I believe that God has put gifts in each and every one of us. When He breathed into us as to make us living,
Mhm,
His gifts He gave to us.
mhm,
So I was looking at like some of the names of God which
mhm,
reveals His gifts or His power,
mhm,
however I want to word it, like
mhm,
healing. You can think of like the doctors.
mhm,
They have the healing gift of God.
mhm,
Army, rabbi, the
mhm,
teacher, he's a creator.
mhm,
People have creative gifts. So,
mhm,
um, as you said, that if you don't know what you have,
mhm,
so it is um, up to us to know that first of all, God is all loving. He loves us no matter what.
mhm,
We are His creators, and He loves us.
mhm,
So if you know you are loved, then the
mhm,
next thing also is that everybody has a gift, so you should um seek yours. If you don't
mhm,
know it, like
mhm,
try to find what gifts are in you, and those translate into passions, and that
mhm,
would also be can lead to your purpose in life, so that you know your purpose in life, and you can work towards it instead of because if you don't know, then whatever label you are given, you accept, and then you're moving with it. It's
mhm,
not easy. Like without
mhm,
God, it's not easy to shed all these things, because these are like heavy loads and
mhm,
labels that sometimes, like, you're young and you've been labeled, so you're used to it. You've believed it all your life. So
mhm,
without God and knowing that He loves us,
mhm,
there was a preaching I heard when I was young that women are God's last born. So it was something I always said. So if I'm in a relationship with you, I'll remind you, I am God's last born, so you can't treat me this way. Yeah,
mhm,
I am special. So
mhm,
if you know your gifts, you know
mhm,
what God has put in you, it becomes a bit easy to overcome these things. And that's what I
okay.
think. Yeah.
I was going to ask you a question, but then you answered it. But I was going to say, what if it's hard for you? Like you can overcome the limitations, but there are still people who are stuck because maybe they ended up with people who are just like them, who
Mm,
find it hard to make that shift.
right.
There's that group, they don't know how to begin. And there are some too who they won't change.
Yeah.
So what do you do with those ones? Or how can you make that change?
The change is to, first of all, I guess, to know that there's a problem in the first place, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever lies that you have believed is
Mm-hmm.
not true in the first place. and that there's a God who loves you. Like,
mhm,
if you know God loves you and you have a relationship with Him, then He becomes your actual Father, not just a God somewhere who created you, right? Because
mhm,
the more you build a relationship with Him, the more real He becomes, and not just like a fictional, like the
mhm.
Greek gods or something like that. And
Okay.
having a relationship, it becomes more personal, and then you allow yourself to be healed by the Holy Spirit, because the relationship will also
Mhm,
sensitize you to the Holy Spirit in you. And it's it can be a long or a short journey depending on
okay.
um, everybody's experience. And
But
yeah,
yeah, what if they are not believers or they don't know any Holy Spirit? Where do they
then
start from?
then if you know you have a problem, you can go to a
Uh,
psychologist
mhm.
or yeah, a shrink.
Find some
Because
help.
yes, because
But people, do we like going to shrinks?
no, we don't. Because there's a stigma that
Just
you have to
asking.
be crazy or weak or
Yeah,
something to go
yeah.
to a shrink, but that's
Mhm,
not it. It's
mhm,
at a point in Ghana, I knew I needed one, but
mhm,
I didn't get it because I didn't know where to go. And the person that I thought would help me said the shrink was his friend and he doesn't want me go telling him things. So
oh,
yes, so yeah, so um, at every point in time, you
mhm,
don't have to be weak or crazy to see a
mhm,
shrink. Yeah,
mhm.
because they
Okay.
have the professional
Mhm,
know-how
mhm.
to help you through these kind of things. Yeah.
Okay. We have a few comments. So I'll read through and then we'll come back to the limitations.
Okay.
So Akuyanima says, hang on. Growing up was tough because I lost my mom at age 10. Oh, and was the firstborn. Oh no. I went through hell and education was the only way to gain my freedom. Even with a career I chose not because of the passion, but for my liberty and peace of mind. But I'm proud of all the experiences because I'm a strong woman.
Yes.
Oh, that is, that is rough. Yeah,
Really
I
sad.
can't I
Yeah.
can't imagine. I can't
Yeah.
imagine. But you know, I'm glad, like with you telling your story, it's good to know that,
Mm-hmm.
you can still come through things, because on this earth on which we are, you have your God, and then there's people around you, but you need to remember that you owe it to yourself to be
Mm-hmm.
who He's called you to be. And you can only, I mean, there's people there, there's good support out there and all that, but you have to have that strength to
Mm-hmm.
push you and to go through it.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Which one was I going to look at? I think it was the same one, right? Oh, Ajoado. Okay. No, I looked at that one already.
Yeah.
Going up here. Ajoado says we all have a story to tell, but I do not allow my bad past experiences to define me, and I cannot treat others with ill feelings because a certain foolish ego or some unintelligent individuals who were broken. Yes, the key to reprogram one's mind for growth and change is to let go of any bad experiences and be the best version without placing any limitation.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That is true. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, too, sometimes people find it so hard
Let
um,
go.
to let go or to forgive.
Yeah.
It's so painful, like they are stuck. And what we were talking about,
Yeah.
we find it so difficult to seek help. I mean, it may be available, but even a lot of times, those of us even who have come outside, do we take advantage of some of these things?
Mm-hmm.
Depending where you are working, even through the workplace, there might be,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Benefits covering it.
employee
Yeah.
assistant programs
Yeah.
that you can go and it's done discreetly. They don't, you just call them, book the appointment, and you go and
Yeah.
talk to somebody. But how many of us will do it? And sometimes even, you see, we are here and we still have the same mindsets that we had back home. We don't even know that there's these resources available, or
Mm-hmm.
even if we know, to go and even look for it or ask questions, right? And
Yes.
sometimes in the circles in which you are moving, people may not even know or be aware of that information. And we
Mm-hmm.
can't bring ourselves to step outside of that circle and find somebody else to ask for help.
Yeah.
So I'll bring Emmanuel's comment. Our parents beat us on the following grounds. If you don't cry after they whip
They
you,
whip you.
if you eat from a stranger or fellow tenant, if you break a plate, if you finish all your food, if you don't finish all your food, if you lose money, if you steal small milk, if you tell them the truth, bam, bam, bam. Emmanuel, thank you. Money as it is, it's painful. It's
Oh
very
yes,
painful. I'm sure
yes.
that a lot of people can relate to that. Like, there's any
Yes.
reason. You see, we seem to have the PhD on discipline. It's not, discipline should not only be just caning or beating the life out of your child.
Punishment.
You
Yeah.
can talk to them and explain things to them and
Yeah.
give them other kinds of punishment than be
Mm-hmm.
caning them. But that's all that we knew. And yes, so, sometimes even I remember one time it was in church, one of the churches that I'd gone to, a pastor,
Mm.
and their son did something. I don't know what the child did. All of a sudden, we're standing there. My husband, bam, slaps the child like that. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, and what can you say? We're just standing there,
You
just
can't say
dumbfounded.
anything.
And I said, the poor, poor child, that's trauma right there. Ajua says, I forgave my uncle and made peace with him before he passed away a few years ago via my mother's advice. I
Mm.
thank God for the constructive intervention because I found myself loving my whole being and others around me. Yes, the treatment that we get puts a lot of pain in us.
Yes.
Pain. Hello, Aisha.
Aisha.
Oh, yeah, Jogbalo. And Ajua says, those who do not like Lot, refuse to go to a professional counselor, lack of knowledge. Yes, well,
Mm.
we just the same, say, oh, call her the actress, say, what bodam,
What about
baby,
them? Yeah, there's something
yes,
wrong with your mind.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And Miss H says we should build our self-esteem and pay no mind to negativity. Oh, yes. That's what I did a lot of that after, but I
Mm.
realized the other day, I was just telling my daughter that when I first came here, I realized I was very angry. You know
Mm.
what? I was very, and you go, what? But all that stuff, I think I did a talk about this before that, like I was saying, lies, 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 and more lies. The lies we tell. Now, the question that I asked is that, are we given the chance to express ourselves?
No.
Because when you get a problem with unuya, oh, enyeshi muawano, muawano, muawano. So it's all built up, and
We a
I'm like,
penny.
yeah, where's all this
Right.
anger from? I had to work on it, and I thought because Bibi Kakra now that time now you didn't understand why, but it's like I said, you are the firstborn, all this pressure on you, and
Mm.
anything people won't. One of my sisters, she used to tell me, "Oh, sister, how do you me mobile? Why? Because everything is on you. It's on you.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know."
they see it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because oh, mommy, ni BBI, she's going through something. She'll come and tell you. Uni pakran, if something happens, then she's lashing out at you, like
Hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Adra says, God richly continue to bless you, sister Kwenima. Bless you too, she says. Yes. So, I mean, these limitations, there are a lot of us who are walking around. I call it the walking wounded, with
Mm-hmm.
wounded souls that we need healing. And you need to take the time to dig inside yourself and find out, because you can cover it up, you can stuff it up, you can eat your feelings away, you can do whatever, you can, maybe you haven't dealt with us and now your children are suffering. You are
Exactly.
beating the
Exactly.
life out of them because you haven't dealt with your own issues. So these are some of the limitations that if you don't deal with, and also no, I'll divert into my language here. Also so school no. Ghana
Hmm.
school. Meaning Ghana baby or schools be home yes sir. But say no, are alert, especially more before no into who any sign be our no or be busebusan some.
Mm-hmm.
So Obani you'll be a won't no. Won't tea and in answer and say, hey, say near yen fie ha. O ya boni a ye beka chro. O ya papa ye beka chro nti na nye bibia na wo ko school ho a wo to mreka
Okay.
akwakoka niam bi wo ha. That's we are parents. See a discipline wo. Na
Mm.
akole ko bwe na no ka bibia.
Hmm.
Saa nkurɔfoɔ no social service almost started wurawura wo fie mu a
Hey, I said
you are
what?
hooked. You are hooked. Ebinom yagye ɔmo mma because of ignorance. Because obi meteɛ no sɛ oba ɛkɔ school mfa sika ɛntɔ ntaare nhyɛ na ne ho atete ne ade na ɔde kɔ school. Like neglect and these kinds of things, you
Yeah.
know. You won't know if you are coming and you have other priorities because of your limitations and you haven't dealt with your issues, but you feel that the only way you can prove to your family that you have come to Abuja, you have something to you hurt yourself, kill yourself, and work to go and build those mansions now. And then your child is sitting here being neglected. Me,
Mm.
I haven't built any mansion, but I make sure my children live in the house so that they are not in a bad neighborhood so that they will turn out well. If I'm not a Yikrana, I've done well by my kids, they should go on to their lives. So you need to sacrifice. It's hard that you can think of sacrificing for your extended family, but your own children, you won't sacrifice for them.
Mm.
Like I've heard stories about how Wakosi dying and then they are sitting in an apartment in Toronto. When they got to Ghana, the children were
Apartment
so,
impo.
yeah, the children were so
Government
mad.
housing.
Yeah, the children were so upset with the father that so you have this here and then you made us live like that. Well, and
Hmm.
your limitations too will not let you better yourself so that your children also will see good examples to be better.
Yeah.
And you forget that whether we like it or not, you've come to have, yes, there, Balm, she
This is
said
a
it. Aisha
major
said
issue
neglect is a
among
major
our
issue among our people. So you are doing these things and you regret or you neglect to remember that you have built your mansion and maybe you are going to go and retire in Ghana, but your children are in this system.
right here.
And because you didn't pay attention to them and use that money to push them to pay for the extra tutors and all that, where are they? Let me show you. So this is the system, right? Their classmates that they are in class with.
Hmm.
Some of them have legacies already from their grandparents and their and whoever, and your
Yeah.
child is here. And so the low paying job that you are doing, because you didn't push your child is also going to be
See.
in that range. Is it fair to them? Because you are going to leave them in this system and then they'll be in this system and they'll be frustrated. And what they saw you do to them, their children also will come and they'll do the same to them.
Yeah.
And it will become a perpetual cycle. So Ajua says it's so unfortunate and dysfunctional practices in many instances, Pa Brother Emmanuel. Unnecessary flogging and beating do not produce any productive tools. There's no educational rationale lesson in flogging besides inflicting pain and trauma.
Pain and
Thank you.
trauma.
It's true. What is the point? What is the point, right? We just hurt with our lips. If we are not hurting with our tongue, we are hurting with our hands, just lashing and lashing. And for what? Oh, sometimes they'll lash you, I won't even eat.
Some of
Won't give
them.
you any food.
Hmm.
But, the limitations, no, there's a lot, but you can come from a bad place and grow yourself to be better.
Yes.
So you can, because me, with all whatever it is that I heard, whatever it is that I thought I knew, I always say that there is a God. Remember the guy that told me that I was too tall?
Mm-hmm.
Second,
Oh,
tell
the
me I was
short
too
guy.
tall. Yeah. So when I went to Kivas, like I fell behind a year, right? I know why. Yeah, because I had my son at that time. Then I went back to school. So when I went back to school, okay, first year, second year, third year, those two guys who were so abusive to me in that sixth form in Winnipeg, there is a God. And I said, I know why I was, delayed a year or whatever. So I'm in third year now. You have come. You're in first year. So what happened? Where did you go? I used to ask,
Wow.
I used to ask myself in my head, right? So
Yeah.
anytime I see them around the campus, I just smile to myself. Do you know that they could never ever look me in the eye?
Oh,
They never spoke to
wow.
me and they could never look me in the eye. I'm like, there is a God.
Because
Up
you
till
would have
now.
actually been in fourth year.
Sorry? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I said,
So,
actually, you would have been in fourth year. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like I'll just smile. I'm like, hey, Namukofa, hey. I never said they couldn't look anytime they were near me, their heads would be down. I'm like, Samukai.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, nipa
dude.
boni o.
Mm.
Oh, and you Brianna, yeah, yeah, no boni. What did I do to you? Like, uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So,
the
yeah.
last
The
part.
flogging, as for the
Mm-hmm,
flogging, I remember it actually built some hatred in me
mm-hmm,
for my mom because
mm-hmm,
it was just too much. Anything
mm-hmm.
at all she could lay her hands off.
Yeah.
And, because I was reading a lot,
Mm-hmm,
I like to write things. And then I
mm-hmm.
went to write that I hate my mom.
Hey, yeah,
And she
Namukofa.
found it. Found it. Oh, it was worse.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Form 3 and she found it. So it got worse, actually. It didn't help me. But yeah, eventually I'm able to talk to her. But as you said, like, there's no real, like, connection, you
Yeah,
know. I talk to her when she's hurting, I hurt. Like, I don't want her to
yeah, yeah,
feel pain and all that, but there's no real connection.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hear you because even
Yeah.
me, like my our last born, right? She's very close to my mom because we all left and she was with her. So the
Mm,
relationship is different. So sometimes when I talk about what I went through, I kind of she gets me, but she doesn't relate, but it hurts her. And I'm like, that's how I feel, and
yeah. Yeah.
I can't change it. That's what happened to me. And, you
Hmm.
know, it's like every time you're like some scapegoat, you know,
Yes.
you're like
Yes.
the scapegoat.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, let me read Adjua's comment and we'll continue. Adjua says a lot of parents in our society communities will end up in jail if they live abroad. The dysfunctional mindsets and mental illness is very real, pa, because it takes sick people to intentionally mistreat their own child or children. That is true because we think that we seem to be caught in a time warp, like we're stuck back there
Yeah.
and things are different now. So you have to find a different way. And whether we like it or not, even sometimes you go on these lives and you see somebody was talking about their child wanting to do something that
Hmm.
she had done. And then somebody is on there judging them and saying that, oh, well, if you don't dress properly and this and whatever it was. And I'm thinking, I looked at the comment, I said, what is wrong with us? Like, you are sitting here and you are still judging. What she's doing is not, she's an adult. She chose to
Right.
do something, and the child is trying to decide. She had to talk to her and say, hey, this is the reason. It may not be the reason for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what should she do? Anyway,
They're
I don't
too
know.
judgy.
Princess,
Right.
hi, hi, Princess. It's agreeing to something.
Yeah.
And yeah, Aisha says, great to invest in our children than saving the money for the children. Help them to get ahead
Yes. Very
if they
important.
need it. Yes. So I don't know. Just people have different and painful experiences, and at the end of the day, you need to come to some understanding. Like some people, like Brother Emmanuel was saying that he thinks that he's still very you know, dealing with that.
Mm-hmm.
We all have different little pieces that we're dealing with, and the first thing is to realize that there's an issue. So
Yeah.
it's good to realize it. There's a lot of people that they are not paying any attention. They are just going through because even us, right? We are not used to owning up to things. How how often do we sit down and just sit quietly and reflect? Am
Mm,
I okay? You know,
yes.
how is your thinking? How do you feel about yourself? You know, do you feel good about yourself? We are not given to questioning
We hardly
anything.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not given to questioning anything.
Yeah.
So I'll put that up when I finish. We're not given to question anything. We just accept things, and we've grown up with it. Like me, I'll tell you, school was true poor pass. Like,
I know.
yeah, one day this week,
And
I
forget.
had I had I had this guy that I listened to on Happy something 98 point something FM. I think his name is Okatechi Free or somebody, Epahua Adabeng. And so he was talking, I think last week or the week before, about religion being, oh, religion is the opium of the masses, Karl Marx. And I started laughing. I'm like, oh yeah, first year sociology class. And then I'm like, oh, but how much? You get what I mean? I've chewed it, I've
Yeah. What
whatever.
does that
But
mean?
yeah, for religion just here for say it forward say use the opium, I said they are high on religion. To look at how these quack prophets have got them,
Mm,
teaching them and doing all kinds of things to them. Uh-huh. Let me read Ajua's comment. Even when you evaluate the educational system where teachers are flogging students from being late,
hmm.
unable to answer questions right, having an attitude, there's stupidity, foolishness. I know they want kind nonsense now. Then you're on well. There's stupidity, foolishness, nonsense, ignorance, and idiotic ideas that flogging a student will magically produce intelligence. How can one learn if being abused or putting fear on them? It's true. It's very true. But our mindset, all we know is a punishment mindset. Everything has to be
Yeah.
cruelty.
Yeah.
Cruelty, like seriously, into a teacher, no, can't you do something else? But is I guess that's what they are taught in. Is that what they are taught in the training institutions
Teacher
then?
training? I guess
Mhm.
so. But I think now they are no longer doing that.
They are not.
No,
Oh,
because
then
I know
that's good.
in my son's school, in my daughter's school, like there's no flogging anymore. You can't do it. Yeah.
So well, that's good then. But still, it's something that we are brought up
No.
with. It's
Yeah.
happening in
Yeah.
other places, and how do we change that
Yeah.
shift?
Well,
Because you
because
can't come and
I didn't enjoy it, I made it a
no.
point that it wasn't going to be my first
Mm-hmm,
thing, right? And
mm-hmm,
especially if you told me the truth about what you did,
mm-hmm,
I made sure that I didn't punish you then.
mm-hmm,
So surprisingly, sometimes my son will go to school, come back, and then he'll say, "Mommy, today I did
mm-hmm.
something bad, though," and then he will tell me what he did. So in that
Uh-huh,
instance, there's
uh-huh,
no punishment, but just talk, right?
mm-hmm,
So that it would encourage him to tell
mm-hmm,
me. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
So I made it a point to do the opposite of what I went through
mm-hmm.
with my kids
But
and also
mhm,
to build a relationship so they can come talk to me. My son
exactly.
is, yeah, my son is 24, my
Mm-hmm,
eldest. I also
mm-hmm,
had him. I was lucky because I had him and there was a 1 year
mm-hmm.
strike.
Luther or something. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I still
Yeah,
went with my
yeah.
mates to the
So,
university, but I had him when I was 20. So
mm-hmm,
he's 25, but he tells me everything.
mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
because of what you've built with
yeah.
them, you know.
Yes. Because it's funny. It's funny that you were saying that he came and told you, and I said that is admirable that a child will be brave to come because we put the fear of the Lord in people that they would lie. That's why there's so much.
Yes.
There's so much now we're talking about it is hitting. There's so much lying because people are afraid. Like
Yeah.
they, what are you going to do when they tell you the parent? So they'd rather lie. And so the
Yes.
lies are all around us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Ajua says all those teachers who use their beatings to teach need some flogging themselves for their
Yeah, because to think about
Last
it,
someone says, "Oh, I just, oh, mama asked him to be I am." It's true.
you are
Like, is that
imparting
all?
knowledge, they are not getting it. Whose fault is it that they are not getting it?
Yeah, is that all your frustration? They're big guap. Manual. Sometimes I have to wear 7 trousers, knowing math mental is waiting. Oh, Emmanuel. One wrong
Oh,
equals one big whipping.
yes, yes, yes.
Emmanuel Kafra, why?
Some people even put like exercise books in
Mhm.
their shirts just to pack
Oh,
them up. Yeah, I
hmm.
remember.
I remember this, my teacher, Mr. Affle. And yet, when people ask me, who's your favorite teacher, he's always the one that I call. I mentioned class 6 or class 7 association. Like, you have done well, you have got the good marks. And so, no, Obeka just say you could have done better. Then he'll come and do, Obey on Saturday. Then he'll be using
Not the
the ruler.
ruler. Oh my, yes.
I'm like, what? Oh,
One wrong equals one whipping.
eh,
Hey,
good.
what? You need to so.
Wapa choto aso, me blocking.
Mm. Mama, me, I make a coffee, baby, oh God. Yeah, what was that? What were we talking about?
Talking about
The
limitations and all
lies
that
and
abuse.
the, yeah, and the
Mm,
punishments.
mm.
You, you ain't no crayfish way. Comment.
Um, mm.
Oh, mm, mm.
Pastor Patience comment.
Oh, good. So, Pastor Patience says, my sister and I were talking about my dad and teachers. One teacher flogged my niece, and by the time my dad got to the school, the teacher had run away and never came back. The other teacher told him
Oh,
whose granddaughter she
God,
was.
dear you.
Oh, me,
On track, dear you.
my mom. Onukwa no beka say, can show more nka homa no.
Mm.
Onu akra ba bebo wo school mo ho.
I try to assume I'm in a corner, me, who
Okay, into no, yeah, kind paragraph nana.
eh,
Okay. Okay, so the last paragraph says, whatever your story is, hear the word of the Lord today. The old is past, he's doing a new thing. Forget the former things. You are the head and never the tail. Know that the Lord is your glory and the lifter of your head. Stand on God's word. Arise, take your place, and take your stand, and live for his glory. Okay,
what
with
do you
that,
have?
with that, well, because
Mm-hmm,
I was toughened by these negative things and
mm-hmm,
I became rebellious, so I was labeled as the black sheep.
mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah,
mm-hmm,
the some of the things I can't even say it. Like it's so
mm-hmm,
bad. Yeah, and it was like, and then to make matters worse, I also had a kid around 20, so that was like the teacher fired himself.
oko. Mm,
Okay. Yeah, but as I said before,
mm-hmm,
I knew it. I was different at that time. When you had a child, like most of the girls I know who had children out of wedlock, then you stayed at home. It
mm-hmm,
was like you're in hiding.
mm-hmm,
But for me, I made it a point,
mm-hmm,
and I made someone sew this sack for me because I couldn't get the already
mm-hmm,
made ones. And if I'm going to town, I took my baby with me because I didn't see any reason why I should
mm-hmm,
hide my child. Like,
mm-hmm,
I didn't kill anybody. In my
mm-hmm,
mind, that's how I processed everything. I didn't
mm-hmm,
kill anybody. I just had a baby. Deal with it. If you can't, I don't care. And
mm-hmm,
um, and I took it on into like my other relationships. It was the first thing I'll tell a man when I met them. So
mm-hmm,
when I hear stories of people hiding their children like from men they were seeing,
mm-hmm,
I just could not understand it. right? So you either accept my child with me or you don't. So although I was labeled the black sheep, I didn't accept it. I knew I could do way more. I knew what was in me. I knew I could do things and excel. So yeah, as the and the you are the head and never the tail. That was one of my favorite quotations as well. I used to say it to myself, I am the head, I'm the firstborn. They can say whatever they like, I'm still the head and I will excel. So some of these like positive how do you say it? Not meditations, but things that you say to yourself. What is it called again?
Affirmations.
Yes, positive
Affirmation.
affirmations. They also help a lot. You tell yourself that she's laughing about the teacher.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it's so and I think it all boils down to what you're believing in, what you know you are, what gifts you know you have in you. I knew I was special. That's how I saw it. I said, I'm special. You can do whatever you want. So now it like it's past because even then I really didn't accept it. So the only negative that bugged me for a while was the anger towards my mom, which took quite some time for me to get out of and actually forgive her. Although I was talking to her, I didn't really have any love for. She was just my mom. But once I forgave her, then now I'm able to think positive things towards her, like not really have a bad mind for her or have bad intentions against her. So yeah, so
That's
that
good.
yeah.
Yeah, what you were talking about, like, I remember that I was saying that my mom's side of the family is very snooty.
Mm-hmm.
I have this uncle, one of the younger brothers, and I guess I didn't know that at the time when I had my child, he had made some comments about me, you know, something about not believing in me again or this or that, because of course his children are all perfect, I guess. So when I went home to visit, and one of my cousins had told me that, like that's the when my sister and I had gone in '94, and one of my guy cousins had told me that, and I just looked at him. I go, well, I'm glad he's seeing me now. you know, like who are you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Who are you? Like, you know, sometimes yeah, we have the labels, but things can happen to you if you are naive or
Yes.
gullible or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's not to excuse yourself or anything, but what is it? You know what I mean? Who are you to judge
Yeah.
anybody?
It
Who
doesn't
are you?
make you
So why
you.
do they label firstborns as secondary parents? Put, oh, you are a firstborn too. We should form a club, Emmanuel. Form a club because it's the pressure is just too much,
Yes.
and you know, uh, you don't even get any whatever for it. Everything is on you, and if you are not lucky to, they teach the younger ones to disrespect you on top.
Oh
hmm
yeah. Yeah.
Everyone knows my dad. He may have ended up in court. The teacher. Oh gosh. Yes. Yes, you, this Moriam, whoever you are very disrespectful. Get off this page. We come on this page to have good intellectual discussions. It's not a time to fool around. You're not
Yeah.
welcome here.
Yeah. And I this reminds me the labeling. I was listening to that was Stephen Furtick, and
hmm
he was preaching on the woman with the issue of blood,
hmm
and he was saying nobody knows her name because she
hmm
was labeled, so that was what she was called, but that wasn't who she was.
hmm
And then he went further to say, I have never seen it. I always read that, but I had never
hmm
seen that. After Jesus healed her, he called her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what she really was, a daughter
Mm-hmm.
of God. So
Mm-hmm.
if we really know who we are in Christ, or we really know who we are or what our purpose is on earth, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those labels will be rubbish.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
he keeps writing. Anyway, so we've said it all, I guess. Like the balm of Gilead is
Yeah.
a balm for the wounded soul. If you have issues, it's important to sit down and reflect and see what you can do to make a change.
Yes.
You can't do it by yourself. There's all kinds of resources available. You need
Mm,
to just reach out and ask for help.
yeah.
And we know that there's a loving God who's concerned about your soul, and He would not like you to live in pain or carry this pain, because He's got something for you that you are supposed to be doing for Him while on this earth. So always remember that, and love yourself enough to want to make that change.
Right.
Any further comments? Yeah.
Um, no, because that's what I
Yes.
said before. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we thank you for joining us tonight. Again, the book is
Yeah.
Reflections for a Thirsty Soul. We're showing our copy,
Yes.
and you can get your copies on Amazon, Friesen Press, Barnes and Nobles, Google Books, and iTunes. Also, look for me. Please subscribe to my
Yeah.
YouTube
Check it out.
channel. You
Mm,
can find me under ATTOBRAH. I'll be back during the week for Straight Talk and Pearly Nuggets. Until then, we thank you all for joining us. It's been a great session. Thank you for all your feedback and your input. And for those who are watching after, we trust that you'll also be blessed. And do leave your comments. I'll come back and take a look. Thank you.
bye.
Bye. Pastor Patience, thank you. Miss Sage, Aisha, Emmanuel,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Who else
Thank
am I
you.
missing? Sheila, maybe she's gone.
Mm,
Thank you so much. Good night.
good night.